Did you know that you can fix a leaking oboe reed with something you can buy at a hardware store? Stick around and I'll show you how. First, you want to figure out if your reed is actually leaking. So to do that, we're going to do the suction test. But before you do the suction test, you need to soak your reed as if you were going to be playing it. Because sometimes if the cane is dry, it's not going to make a seal the same way it would if it was wet. So we soak it first, and then we do the suction test. So you want to put your finger on the end of the staple and suck the air out. And if it makes a pop when you pull off, it means it's getting good suction and it's airtight. This one does not make a very loud pop, if any. And I can actually hear some air coming through when I'm sucking on it. There's not a lot you can do scraping-wise with the reed if it doesn't have suction. Most of the problems with suction are going to come from when the reed was tied on. So if you're making your own reeds, you want to make sure that you're tying them on correctly to avoid the leaks in the first place. If you're buying your reeds and you keep getting leaky ones, then you're going to maybe want to reconsider where you're getting your reeds from. So I'm just going to give you some quick tips of ways you can avoid having leaks in the first place. When you are first tying it on, you get your thread and make sure you add some beeswax to it. So I always unwind about an arm's length worth of string and then take the whole thing and pull it through this chunk of beeswax. And you can't see the whole thing because I'm not doing it as long as I normally would, but you just pull it through about 3 times and it gets it waxy and then it seals better. Another thing is when you're tying the reed on, you want to make sure that the strings come exactly to the end of the staple. These staples are 47 millimeters, which is the most common length in the United States. And I take a seam gauge that you use for sewing, and before I tie it on, I just measure the staple and put this little gauge that moves up and down right at the top. And this one is showing 47. Then when I tie it on, I make sure that the string is right there. One more thing to check when you're tying the reed on is that the cane is straight on the staple and not twisted side to side. So the way you can do that is with your mandrel. So you'll notice on the top of the mandrel, it isn't a perfect circle, it's an oval, which matches up with the shape of the staple. So when you insert the mandrel into the staple, the ovals match up, and it also matches up with the flat part on the handle of the mandrel. And then, after your reed has been tied on, you can still tell the direction of that oval by the handle on your mandrel. So if the flat part is here, then the flatter part of the oval is going to be here. If the reed is flat with the mandrel, then you know you have it on straight. Sometimes you can do all of the right things and it will still have a leak in it. It could just be a bad piece of cane. But all hope is not lost. There is a quick and easy fix with just some plumber's tape that you can get at any hardware store. It's also called PTFE thread seal tape. So you just take it and cut off a piece about, I don't know, an inch long maybe. You don't want it too long because you don't want it too thick and messing with the vibrations of your reed. And I just usually use my reed knife because I have it handy. And I hold out the piece, pull the knife through it, cut it off, and then wrap it around the reed. So then I just take it and put a little bit of it on the strings because the strings help keep it from sliding up and down. And then I just wrap it around the reed. And how far you go up the reed depends on where the leak is. So after you wrap it, you can try it with the suction test, and if it didn't get it, you might need to move it up higher, but that's all there is to it. Now that we have it taped, let's try the suction test. And now it makes the pop, which means that it is sealing. If this video helped you, consider subscribing so that you don't miss any of my new videos. I hope to be able to help you more with your reads in the future.